Hello, everybody. How's it going? It's been a very interesting past few days. I've been doing a lot of comparisons and contemplating, and I finally came to the conclusion of what my dream chain is. And the answer is a 7 millimeter Miami Cuban link, 18 inches in 18 karat gold. And I'm going to explain my reasoning for all of that. So, why the Miami Cuban link? First of all, let me just say I was debating, I was debating between the Figaro, the Franco, and the Miami Cuban. But the Figaro was in there just because out of the three I just mentioned, definitely the most affordable. Like a whole chain for that was less than $1,000. And I was like, damn, that can scratch an itch if I wanted to. But the thing is, I was kind of on the fence about it, and I don't want to be on the fence about something. I want to be sure of the type of chain that I want. So the fact that I was kind of wishy-washy with it just kind of made me throw it to the side, right? I still love the Figaro, don't get me wrong. With the Franco chain, super gorgeous, right? It's very modern, probably the most popular chain I see, at least here in California. 95% of guys that I see wearing jewelry and chains are wearing a Franco chain. So for that, I was kind of like, it is pretty common, and to me, the Cuban, like there wouldn't be a Franco chain without the Cuban. So I was like, yeah, like not the Franco, I want to stick with the Cuban. Also because that is the piece of jewelry, my 5 millimeter vermeil Cuban from Jackson was what got me into this jewelry rabbit hole. I love that piece, and it's just, I don't know, ever since I got that one, then I bumped it up to this 7 millimeter Cuban vermeil piece as well, and I just love it. Another interesting fact is all the ladies in my life, out of all the chains that I've worn, their favorite is, in their words, like the bigger Cuban. They're like, oh my God, I love the bigger Cuban. And when they see it, they always like kind of touching it. But even though like it's not a piece that kind of like fully distracts you though, you know what I mean? Yes, you can tell from afar that it's a Cuban, and it does have like, you know, some weight to it, but the closer you get to it, it doesn't look too gaudy. It's not too much. It's still just a very nice, timeless, classic sort of look. And also with like the women that are subscribed to me and follow me on my other platforms, whenever I'm talking about like fragrances and they see this chain, like, oh my God, I love your necklace. That's so cute. Like they love it. So this, all of like the women in my life, the women that follow me on the internet, this is their favorite piece on me. And then for me, I want my first signature solid gold piece to be, you know, the Miami Cuban, because the Cuban is what kind of started everything for me. Now, why 7 millimeters? Well, with the 5, it did have a tendency to roll more often, you know, when I was kind of moving around, it would kind of roll like this. But with the 7, no matter what I'm doing, once I sit up straight or when I stand up, it falls flat on my chest. And I love that. It has some weight to it, so it's not gonna be like stuck like that and rolling, and it's just boom. It stays just like this. Another thing is I knew that I didn't want less than a 5. You know what, actually, maybe even less than a 6 when it came to Cuban links, just because I still wanted it to be recognized as a Cuban. With anything less than like a 5, sometimes it's kind of, you can kind of get it confused with other type of necklaces because it's a bit smaller, like you can't really see the design or the links as well in comparison to the 6 and the 7, where you're like, okay, yeah, that is a Miami Cuban link or a Cuban link. So yeah, the 7 is just, I also love the number 7, you know, so that is another reason. But from the side profile, from the front, I just love it. It's just really, really nice. It's the perfect type of size. And I haven't even tried wearing a 6 millimeter, so I don't know what that would look like. I'm not sure if it looks smaller, significantly smaller than this one, or significantly bigger than the 5. But I will say, going from the 5 millimeter to the 7 was a pretty big jump. To me, the 5 is pretty small now. I'm like, oh wow, that it looks tiny in comparison to the 7. That's just my personal opinion with it after kind of wearing both of them. So this is the one I definitely rock like on the daily. And that's what I want with my chain. I want to be able to wear it day in, day out, how I have been wearing my jewelry right now. I never want to take it off. And another great thing I know with the 7 is that it comes with a box lock. I think everything upwards of 5 comes with a box lock. But yeah, with this, if you've been kind of following my page, then you know that the only thing that pisses me off about this vermeil piece is that it's adjustable, and this frill right here just looks tacky to me, especially like from, you know, the back profile, like when my hair is up and then you see the necklace and then you just see this dangly thing here. It's just not, I don't know, it doesn't look as clean. It just, ugh, I don't like it. So the box lock is just, I've never seen one in person, but at least online, it definitely looks a lot more secure than this. And people have just, according to the reviews I've watched, they have struggled taking out the box lock. And I would rather have that than a necklace that comes off easily. You know what I mean? Especially for me, I love going to the beach. So I want something that's going to be durable. I want something that's going to be able to withstand wherever I'm going. It's not just going to rip off my neck like due to a small inconvenience. So that's my reasoning for the 7. Now, 18 inches. Why 18 inches? Well, that's because the 20 on me personally kind of dangles a bit too low for my liking when I'm wearing t-shirts and crew necks. You know, with this 18, it's the sweet spot because I can still put it over my shirt and it's not just gonna randomly tuck itself in like a 16-inch would. You know, it'll go in if I want it to, but it will stay out if I want it to stay out. The 20 just looks a bit too masculine with a higher neckline, but I do love the look of the 20 when I'm wearing ribbed tank tops and things like that. But yeah, the 18 is just perfect for me. Now, why 18 karat gold? Because at least here in the States, a lot of people's favorite is the 14 karat, even the 10 karat. If you don't know, the 10 karat apparently has around like 41.7% of gold purity, which a lot of people dog on because they're like, oh, it's not even half, like it's just filled with alloys. But I mean, it's still pure gold in it, right? With 14, there's maybe around 58. And these numbers, I'm trying to remember them off the top of my head. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But with the 18, it's like 75% gold purity, right? And this might be a bit of a cultural thing, but at least with like Southeast Asians, South Asians, like there's a lot of us that rock the 18 to 22 karat gold like on a daily basis. I'm talking about kids, you know what I mean? Like parents, grandparents give their grandchildren and their children, like when they're younger, these 18 karat to 22 karat gold necklaces, bracelets. And you know how kids are, like they'll run around, like they'll scratch themselves up, things like that. And a lot of the concern with people in the States is, oh, the 18 karat it's too delicate, it's too soft, it's gonna scratch, it's gonna do all this, so there's more worry about that. But for me, I'm not really tripping about it, just because like I've seen people use their 18 karat type of jewelry on a daily basis playing sports, and it's been totally fine. So I am not really tripping about that. I'm not too worried about that. A lot of people love the 10 karat because of the durability. It's less likely to scratch and things like that. But for me, also looking at the comparison of the color and the tones of those 3 like types of gold, I was so drawn to the 18. It looks much more rich in color, everything about it I loved, and I'm not really stressing about, oh, like what if it, you know, if something scratches it, blah, blah, blah. I'm not really concerned, right? So that's my reasoning for the 18 karat. It just looks so beautiful. Definitely, I think with the 10 and the 14, you can still kind of see the difference, but not really. Like they are a bit closer together. The 14 and 18, there's still that similarity, but from 10 to 18, it's very obvious like which one is an 18 karat versus a 10 karat. But I will say, people out on the street that you're going to be meeting aren't like gold connoisseurs, so they're not going to be like, oh, you're rocking a 10, like you should be wearing an 18 or a 14. You're not going to really be getting anything like that. So wear whatever the hell you want to wear. This is just my personal preference of what my dream chain is. So that's the reasoning for that, of the things that I wanted to cover in the beginning of this video. Now, where am I going to get it? This is kind of what took up a bulk of my research. And the thing is, with a Miami Cuban link, I don't want it to be made in California, in Italy, in New York. I want it to be handmade in Miami. So I was looking for reputable jewelers in that area. And the most popular one that came up was Daniel's Jewelry. And there was a lot of reviews of them on YouTube specifically where they, people were showing the product. And I was like, holy shit, that looks clean. Like the product, the product looks really nice. And I believe that it's handmade. Everything upwards of 5 millimeters with that company is handmade. And the filings and the links were just so tight. Everything was just gorgeous. And I was like, damn, that is what I want. Because another person mentioned Jacoji to me. And I think their Francos look amazing. But with Miami Cubans, they did say that theirs was like machine made. So I was like, I want, like, for my first solid piece, I want it handmade. I want it coming from Miami. You know what I mean? I want it to be as authentic as possible in that regard. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, Daniel's Jewelry is the place that I would want to go to in the future. And this, like, me wanting this chain, it's not something I'm going to be getting next week, or it's not like the first thing on my list of priorities. There's definitely a lot of other things that, that require my attention, like financially, that, I want to take care of and do. So that, like, the dream chain, that will come in the future, maybe months down the road, years down the road. But it'll be kind of like a bougie treat yourself to a gift type of moment the moment I get it. I'm not rushing to have it in my hands right now, but it is something that is, on the back of my mind where I'm like, yeah, that is what I want for myself. Just like a nice, in terms of accessories, like the one thing that I would want. But anyways, let me know what your dream chain is. If you have it, if you're planning to get it, where you're getting it from. Because I love talking about all this with you guys. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, that's mine. And it's going to be a journey, but I love it. I love it. Ready for it. I'm excited. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.